name is Matija, and today I'm going to talk about the temporal bone, specifically about the tympanic cavity. So let's get right to it. To know where do we look at, what are we looking at, we're going to use this model of the skull. So we are going to cut parasagittally here to remove the squama of temporal bone and to remove external auditory meatus. So the end product would be this. The external auditory meatus would lead to here, and here
enlarged.
It's very, very enlarged. And here would be a tympanic membrane or the eardrum. After the eardrum, we have the middle ear. Everything lateral to the eardrum was the outer ear. When talking about the middle ear, we can think of it as a box. It has 6 sides or 6 walls, as we call it in Latin. It's called paries. So we have anterior and posterior wall, superior and inferior wall, and medial and lateral wall. So to start right with the lateral wall, we can continue where we finished. So we had the eardrum or the tympanic membrane, and the lateral wall therefore is called paries membranacea. So the border or the place that the lateral wall of the tympanic cavity is located around the tympanic membrane. So here on this structure we can see tympanic incisure or incisura tympanica here, and here we can see opening of the canal of the chorda tympani nerve. So in Latin it would be apertura tympanica canaliculi chorda tympani. As we know, chorda tympani would go through the eardrum, through the middle ear, and exit of it through the fissura petrotympanica or petrotympanic fissure. The medial wall of the middle ear consists of these structures. We have promontorium here, and here would be plexus tympanicus or tympanic plexus. It consists of tympanic nerve, of sympathicus that comes from carotic branches of sympathicus, and of some branch from the facial nerve. After the tympanic plexus, we have the lateral petrosal nerve that goes through this canal and exits the middle ear here. So here we have the hiatus of lateral petrosal nerve or hiatus canalis neri petrosi minoris. So here would petrosal nerve later go on his way. We have the connections with inner ear in these 2 windows. We have oval window and round window. In oval window, we have the base of the bone stapes placed, and the vibrations of stapes regulate the flow of the liquid in the inner ear and therefore make the sound in our brain. Down here we have the round window, where the other part of the liquid in the cochlea, which is important for the production of sound, would go, and it would meet the secondary tympanic membrane. So the secondary tympanic membrane actually prevents the liquid in the inner ear to come out. So here we have base of stapes around the oval foramen, and we have secondary tympanic membrane around the round foramen. Also we have these 2 structures. This would be prominence of the facial canal, and here we would have prominence of the lateral semicircular ductus. We can come here to see it in greater detail. So here we have again the medial wall of the inner ear. It's also called the paries vestibularis, as the vestibular wall, because it leads to the vestibulum, the entrance part of the inner ear. Here we would be the oval foramen and the round window or foramen, значит, oval window, round window. And here are the structures that we said. Here is the prominence of the facial canal, and voila, here is the facial nerve. Here is the prominence of the lateral semicircular duct, and voila, here is the prominence of the lateral semicircular duct, and here the liquid from the inner ear would go, and it is important for the perception of the angular movements of the head. Thank you, Andrea. Here we have the model of the promontory once again, and this would be the lateral petrosal nerve. Okay, so we have finished the lateral and the medial walls of the tympanic cavity. Let's
So
go to the
lateral wall was here, parius membranacea, so called because of membrana tympani here, and the medial wall was parius vestibularis because we are then entering to the vestibulum of the inner ear. Okay, so now we will continue.
We will continue with the superior wall. It's called parius tegmentalis because the superior part of the middle ear is called tegmen tympani or tympanic tegmen, I guess. There is no important structure here noted, but we can see from the outside of the ear, here on the superior part of the temporal bone, we have eminentia arcuata or arcuate eminence. That is the prominence of the anterior semicircular duct. That would be the
So
parius.
anterior semicircular canal is making compression here, and lateral is making it here. Okay.
Yes, and that concludes the parius tegmentalis. The inferior wall would be parius jugularis. Why? Because right after the inferior wall, we have the space where would be the jugular foramen and jugulary vein. And here would even be the bulbus of the jugulary vein, or its widening. Here we don't have also not much of important structures, but one tiny structure here. That would be the opening of the tympanic canal ichilus. So the tympanic nerve would come here. It would make the plex tympanicus here, then it would continue as the lesser petrosal nerve. Anterior wall comes obviously to the front, and it's called parius carotica. Why carotic wall? Because here we have carotic canal, its outer and inner opening.
So from here to here.
Yeah, and as the carotid enters here, it's right in front of it. So my fingers are forming a ring around the carotid canal, and we can see that the canal is right in front of the anterior wall of the middle ear. That's why it's called parius carotica. So,
that internal carotid artery carries postganglionic sympathetic fibers perivascularly that will also enter to the tympanic cavity and be here on the promontorium in the plexus.
thank you, Andrea.
Sorry.
As well, and the interior wall, we can see these two structures. So this one giant structure is called musculotubular canal because it consists both of a muscular and
part.
yes, thank you, and tubal part. So tubal part consists of auditory tube or the tube auditiva, or as we call it, Eustachian tube. It's important for the pressure in the regulating the pressure in the middle ear. And here we have the musculus tensor tympani muscle that regulates the vibrations of the bones here in the middle ear. So the musculus goes here, his tension goes around this process and attaches to the malleal bone or the hammer. That would be the anterior wall or the parius carotica. The last but not the least is the posterior wall. It's called parius mastoida because the posterior part of the middle ear consists of mastoid cells and mastoid antrum or the mastoid cave. Here we can see the pneumatized parts of the bone, so the parts of the bone that have a bit of air in it, and it's also helping the regulation of the pressure in the middle ear. Here is one important structure. It's called the additus ad antrum mastoideum, or in English, the entering to the
entrance to the mastoid cells.
Yes, to the mastoid cave.
Yeah.
So that would be it. So to sum up, we have 6 walls of the cube of the middle ear. We have the anterior wall or the parius carotica, the posterior wall or the parius mastoida, the superior wall or the parius tegmentalis, inferior wall or the parius jugularis, medial wall or the parius vestibularis, and the lateral wall or the parius membranacea as for membrana tympanic membrane. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your exams and your study.